Hello and welcome to my channel Inspiring Life Changes. My name is Colette and I'm here today to do the reading for this new moon that has taken place today at 4 minutes past 12 in the UK. The new moon in Libra, which is taking place at 13 degrees and 24 minutes. It's the second of the two videos that I'm putting out today. The astrology one I've already done, and hopefully it will be out before this one is finished. So with that being said, I'd like to just put my lights on before I forget, because I've just seen that they're not on. So there we go, that feels better. So this is the tarot part of the videos that I will be doing today, and this is the collective reading, the tarot reading side of it. I didn't do a tarot reading side of the full moon in Pisces that we just experienced. I only did the astrology for personal reasons. That weekend I'd had a bit of a heavy weekend, so my daughter's hen weekend, and I just wasn't really in the space for doing anything like that. So I managed to get the astrology done, but the tarot was a bit of a train wreck, so I decided to give it a miss for that particular full moon. So I'm here today to do the new moon in Libra, very powerful moon to do with communication and expression, data, information. If you watch the video that I put out, you'll get a better idea of what I feel that it's about. Interestingly, the cards today here are very much kind of focused on earth energy, so it feels like kind of grounding things into reality, if you like. It is a cardinal moon, and I will kind of show you quickly the energies that go with it. So we have the new moon energy itself is always about a new beginning, a new start. So this is about an intention, planting an intention. The 7th house is where this new moon is taking place, and so the 7th house is the house of relationships, intimate personal relationships. We also have Mercury, who is retrograding through Libra at this time as well. So there is an emphasis on our relationships and things coming back to be cleared or reborn, or just generally kind of being dealt with, things that may not have been from our past, that we may not have had closure on as well. So the cardinal moon is about being bold. It says make the first move. So this is about taking the initiative, really. Cardinal energy is action, it's doing, it's initiating energy, taking the initiative to get something going. And because it is in Libra and it is the 7th house, it is about a new romantic cycle beginning. So this could also be, for some people, this could also be a new romance coming in as well, ending final romances from previous relationships and moving into something completely different. So the actual first card, no, sorry, I'm not going to start with that card. Totally forgot about this one over here. So this is the card that I'm starting with today, and it's called the Enlightened One. And it's saying, out of compassion, enlightened beings never turn away from the horrors of the suffering of other beings. And I kind of feel that this new moon is about that as well, because it is also opposing Chiron. And if you watch the astrology video, I also talk about the kite energy that is very strong at this time, the grand air trine that we've been in since the end of August right the way through the whole of September, and we're still in it, pardon me, and it will still continue through October as well. Powerful energy. So it says they see through such, sorry, my eyesight with glasses, they see through such contorted surfaces to the infinite depth of the exquisite beauty of freedom and joy in the core of every being. So they don't, basically what it's saying is it's not about judging people when it comes to their personal suffering. Buddhas are not objects of worship, however, but mirrors of our innermost being, icons of the journey from ignorance to illumination. Don't look at me, the Buddha would say, but to the enlightened state. Meditate on your own true Buddha nature, and you too shall know peace. And peace is one of the energies of Libra. It's also, here it's talking about the awakened mind as well, being an air element, and we have a lot of air energy around at this time. I was going to say something else came into my mind then, but it's also seems to have left just as quickly. Maybe it will come back, I don't know. So we're going to start the reading with the first card here, the Five of Earth, as the overall collective energy at this time. And it is saying to me that it's in reverse as well, so this is something that's been ongoing. It's a long standing energy, something that we've been experienced for quite a while. Five of Earth can be a feeling of being kind of left out in the cold, but for me this card also talks about a sense of almost becoming like a statue, almost like becoming to the point of like part of the furniture. If you look here, she's kind of covered in all of this. She's in this wood and she's covered with all this moss and all this kind of outer growth that's kind of grown up all around her. So it kind of implies that this energy has been there for a long time. It's a stagnant energy. It's an energy we've been living in. It's stagnant. It needs to be like cleansed off or cleaned off of us somehow, is what's coming through. It's almost like an energy that has kind of grown up around us without us necessarily knowing that it's happening, and it's kind of, we've taken on its form, we've allowed it to kind of grow around us and to become us when it isn't actually us at all, is how this is coming through. Yeah, like something that we've accepted as being a part of our nature, when in fact it isn't. But we're so kind of used to it now, we're so kind of familiar with it, that kind of without it we wouldn't quite know who we were, is how it's coming through. And the challenge that we have at this time is very interesting, because this is the Two of Earth, which to me talks about a state of I see this energy here as this energy here, a sense of kind of, this is what we need to leave behind and this is what we need to move towards. So it's almost like moving towards this light down here, because if you look here, this pentacle has actually got this kind of glowing energy to it. It's kind of radiating, whereas this one is a bit more kind of in the shadows. So there's this sense of, I always see this card as being the sense of the past and the future. and knowing it's almost like, you know, what do we take with us into this future, into this new energy that we're creating, this new environment that we're creating, because it's earth, it's environment, it's physical, it's material. What are we going to leave behind here? What do we need to leave behind? And a lot of this is to do with this energy, whatever this means for you on a personal level. Which could also have a lot to do with kind of family situations, generational situations. There is a big healing process that's going on at this time. We have the Sun and Mars and the Moon all opposing the Chiron energy, and Chiron is also making a kite energy at this time as well. So that's the healing process. That's kind of the focus point of where we are right now. So that's what I feel that this is. It's this kind of sense of having to leave all of this stuff behind. It's like this generational stuff that we're still carrying with us, but we need to let it go in order to be able to move forward. And there's a sense of kind of like balance as well, like not everything needs to be left behind, but we need to be we need to be careful in some ways of what it is that we do leave in our past and what it is that we carry forward with us into our future. So that is our challenge at this time, is to kind of find that balance to, and Libra is of course a sense of balance as well. You can kind of see that here with these two coins. They're kind of bringing something into equilibrium here. Is also how it's coming through, like weighing something up. Weighing up the value of something, the importance of something, prioritizing things. And realizing that we don't need to take everything with us, which is also what's coming through here. There's also a sense here as well of something like coming out of the shadow, being in the shadow and coming out of this shadow, because this light is appearing behind her here in this wood, almost like she's been kind of like in the dark, in the shadow, left to kind of it just feels like the outer persona is not the inner persona. So it's like getting to the inner persona, the crux of it, the kind of like the shining, if you like. There's also something about this as well, the shining side part of something. Valuable, but it's to do with our own nature. It's to do with who we are as individuals. What's in our head and what we are aware of at this time with the Seven of Fire or Seven of Wands in reverse again, an energy that's been there for quite some time. Normally I see this as a sense of leaping into a new energy, a new, like moving away from something, leaping away from something, getting out of a situation that we don't want to be in. With a Seven of Fire, it can also be about kind of protecting ourselves or keeping ourselves guarded. There's also a sense of standing up for ourselves here as well. With the Seven of Wands, standing up for our beliefs, who we are, what's important to us, but it is in reverse. So it does feel that at this time we're kind of, it almost feels like when we try to do that, we're kind of kept down by all these kind of little firebug things here, which today I'm seeing as kind of this sense of, like, sometimes I see them as being helpful and allowing, like, to see clearly, to light the path so that you can move ahead. But when it's in reverse, it's more like a sense of being stuck, which is similar to this energy, in fact, which is what I'm seeing here. This is being stuck, stagnant energy. But this is also this sense of kind of when we do try to move forward, when we do try to stand up for ourselves, when we do try to what's the word I'm looking for here? Speak out, fire, creative energy. But it's more than that. It's a sense of kind of having to justifying our actions, justifying why we think the way we do. And it's almost like these little like I was saying, these kind of firebugs are kind of attacking. It's almost like the outside of us, the environment around us is kind of keeping us in this place, keeping us stuck, keeping us in our place, is how it's kind of coming through, not allowing us to progress forward, stopping that progression. And that is our challenge at this time as well. Our challenge is to leave something behind and move forward into this new direction, if you like. So, the energy that's moving away, the messenger of fire, it's interesting because it's almost like these little blobs around her are kind of similar to this energy here as well. But I'm getting a feeling of distrust with this card today, like the way that she's looking. It's like the information that she's being given is something that she's not fully trusting. Or we're not fully trusting. We haven't been fully trusting. Messenger of fire is also about wanting to explore, wanting to understand. It's dynamic, it's doing, it's action orientated. It is about fire and warmth and expression and the need to to share, and the need to because it's Leo energy, it's Aries energy, it's Sagittarius energy. It is that fire, that warmth, that kind of being drawn towards something. But there's also a sense of learning something here, but not trusting. Not trusting information, not trusting the possibly even the direction that we're having to move towards. You'll see what else comes out with that. At the bottom in the subconscious we have the Ace of Pentacles, which is that grounding energy, grounding something into the reality. New start, new beginning. Aces are always a new energy, an energy that comes in that needs to be channeled, it needs to find direction. Pentacles can be to do with money, but it's also to do with the physical world in itself, our environment around us, creating something new. With a sense of purpose, a sense of stability, a sense of grounding, like I was saying, grounding something into the physical realm. But it's also come out with the Strength card today. And this is the subconscious realm, so this is what we're not so aware of at this time. Of what we're not aware that this is what's happening, that we are creating this. And we also have the 2 here as well, so we've gone from the Ace to the 2, which is the kind of blockage, and we also have this Strength card as well. And when the Strength card is in reverse, I often feel it as a sense of our own strength being used against us. So what we thought was our strength and coming from a place of strength is actually not. It's actually saying that literally that our own strength is being controlled, being used against us. And there is this masculine and feminine element to this energy here as well. It feels as though there's a depletion of energy here, as though something is being kept subdued, something is being kept stagnant or kept down or kept blocked. Because strength can also be about maturity as well. It can also be about like a card of growth, of maturity through action. Maturity literally like growing up, so that you're no longer behaving in a kind of coming from a demanding place of kind of like, you know, stamping your feet and wanting your own way. It's more a sense of like understanding that in order to get what we want, sometimes we have to act in a much more mature fashion. Also that not everything that we want is good for us or that we should actually have. Or we may also think it's going to be good for us, but that doesn't necessarily mean that it is going to be. So there's almost like a bit of a warning here as well with this Strength card in reverse with the Ace of Earth. Be careful what it is that we're pulling in, especially with this Ace and the 2. Be careful what it is that we're kind of grounding into this new reality. And we also have the 6 of Pentacles, the 6 of Earth here, which is about compromise. It's also about a sense of fairness, equality, an equal amount being put into a situation as is being taken out of a situation. And this is the energy that we're moving into, this sense of something being more fair, more balanced. This is new moon in Libra energy as well, because Libra is all about justice and fairness and equality. And the Stag is a very masculine energy as well, and at this time there is a lot of masculine energy that is being kind of highlighted and healed. There is a healing taking place within that masculine energy, which could also be this Strength card here as well. If you see the lion, which always represents the masculine side, and then you've got the woman here who kind of tames the beast, if you like, within. So again, it's this masculine feminine energy which I feel is really strong at this time within the Libra energy itself as well, because we've got 2 goddesses, or God and the goddess of creation in Libra. Again, if you watch my astrology video, I talk more about that, but we've got Make, who is kind of at the early stages of Libra, and at the end of Libra we've got Romio, who is the feminine side of the creation story. They're both like the creation god and goddess in their own right, both bringing in kind of higher frequency dimensional energies as well. And shifting that masculine energy, which this can also be seen as the Mars energy, because it can also be that Leo, like warlike, if you like, very kind of like if you think the lion, like the king and the beasts, the I do tend to see the Strength card more as a Leo energy, but there are some people who would also see this as a Aries energy, the Mars energy. I suppose it can really be both. It is talking about this kind of dominant, kind of masculine energy, particularly when it's in reverse as well. For me, it's kind of talking about that strength being used against us, as I was saying earlier. And how we are hopefully going to move into this more balanced approach to things, this idea of there having to be equality, there having to be this fairness, this like compromising on both sides in order for things to be balanced and to be fair. And also the Libra energy to do with relationships as well. But underneath that we have the Queen of Air, and she came out, this is the 3rd time she came out. She came out twice while I was shuffling as well, both times reversed. So this is the 3rd time that she has appeared reversed. Again, in my astrology video I talk a lot about the air energy that is around at this time, and how it's really predominant. I think we've got something like, was it 4 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 10 energies in air at this time, which is quite a predominance of air energy. And we also have a grand air trine as well. So this energy is really powerful at this time. This kind of air communication, also to do with data, knowledge. But the Queen of Swords, I feel, when she's in reverse, it's Queen of Swords, Queen of Air, when she's in reverse, she's kind of saying that she's holding back. It's like a holding back here, something that is not being revealed. Something that we are not ready to fully comprehend yet. But I do feel as though there is going to be something that is going to happen. I talk about that in my astrology as well. But we have the 6 of Cups here, 6 of Water in the environment. And the 6 of Water is the card of, it can be seen as melancholy, nostalgia. If you look carefully in the water there, you can see a young girl. It's like the younger version of herself. It's that inner child that needs to be like looked after, protected. But it can also talk about trauma as well, which I do feel is something that is very powerful at this time, this kind of clearing out of traumas, which I've spoken about earlier, this clearing out, this need to release, this need to be kind to ourselves as well, and to love ourselves with all our faults and all our flaws, and not to, because the Queen of Swords can also be very judgmental and very harsh and very hard, very cutting, and also very closed. Again, I get this kind of idea of being very closed off here. In our hopes and our fears, we have the 10 of Fire in reverse, 10 of Wands, which can talk about a situation where things are just kind of... Today I'm seeing this as something where we're needing to, again, it's like each one of these kind of letters or this writing, it's almost like we need to release it, which is what this is kind of saying here. This is about releasing and letting something go here, but it's in reverse. It's our hopes and our fears. So there's this fear of the unknown, of moving beyond this energy, this kind of like seeing this as information that we know. It's kind of like it's long standing, it's been there for a long time, it's what we've been brought up on, it's what we understand to be the truth for us. But everything changes. We live in a constantly changing universe. So if we're kind of trying to stay in an old, like stay stuck in an old paradigm and an old energy, when we're actually, what we're needing to do is to let that go and release all of this in order to be able to write a new story. And this again could be to do with like the overall collective energy. It can also be to do with relationships as well at this time. Kind of saying that we need to let go of this past history, whether it's to do with our own story or our parents or our grandparents, or it's like it's all here. It's all here, it's all kind of, and we just keep going round and round and round in that circle, trying to kind of find the answers. But the answers are no longer there, because that's the old, that's the past, that's the kind of history, the stagnation point, if you like, that we're needing to burn away. And that's kind of how I'm seeing this as well. It's like it needs to be burnt through. Released, in order for us to reclaim, with the Queen of Pentacles, it's like reclaiming our domain, reclaiming our environment, our strength. I always see her as a very strong character. She kind of is this kind of this energy. It's kind of how it's coming through. It's like once we release all of this, this is what's inside. As I was saying earlier about this is all the outer persona and all the history, if you like, all the stuff that needs to be got rid of and burnt through. And once we do that, this is the kind of what I was talking about, the inner, the shining, the kind of like the light, the bright, the strength, it's who we are within. It's like the strength of the human, if you like, is how it's coming through. I know it's earth energy. I know it relates to Taurus and Virgo and Capricorn, very earthy energies. But I'm also seeing it as this kind of collective strength as well. This collective, like, kind of recognition of who we are, because we are made up of all these different elements, and we are part of the earth, and the earth is part of us. There is no separation. There is no disconnection. Like, everything that we are made up of comes from the earth. And also to do with the environment, to do with the strength, to do with how can you put it, like it feels like standing in our power, standing strong. Standing strong, standing upright, not allowing ourselves to be defeated. There's a sense of kind of like a mountain here. Like knowing ourselves, knowing who we are, where we're coming from, what it is that we do and don't want. It's kind of how it's coming through. A sense of realization as well. A sense of realization that we are so much more than what we've been allowed to believe so far. So let's see what the confirmation cards would like to say to us at this time? We have happiness and the Emperor. Two strong energies. Happiness, the Nine of Cups. Reaching that point of success, of happiness, of emotional bliss, of like, almost like, you know, I mean, it's one away from the Ten of Cups, so it's so close to being at that point of emotional achievement, of happy families, of happy relationships, of... It also, for me, is coming through, and I got this earlier in the astrology as well, this sense of unconditional love energy here as well, which goes along with the suffering. Kind of recognition of other people's suffering as an unconditional love, compassion. And then we have the Emperor energy here, who is very strong. The Emperor energy is this, the masculine energy when it's in its creative, upright, powerful, healthy, very aware of their how can you put it? Very aware of their strength and their... But again, the Emperor doesn't have to be just for the masculine. It's that sense of the masculine being healed, I feel here. And again, the masculine within all of us, not just the masculine within the men. It's not just a male thing only. It's not just a man thing. It's also a woman. That side of the very active doing energy, which can be very destructive, and it can be overbearing, overpowerful, over dominating. But when it's upright, when it's in the positive, it's saying that we are moving forward into a place of much more inner strength, balance. And the masculine energy is not just going to be about control and domination. And so with the Seven of Fire, we have the Star energy. Which is this sense of bringing the consciousness down into the kind of 3D plane, if you like. It's like, I see it as this, because here she's kind of bringing this energy down and grounding it into the physical domain down here, and this star here with this swirling kind of spiral pattern. Star is about hope, it's about optimism, joy, good fortune. destiny, connecting to everything. It's that understanding of connection to everything is kind of how I see this Star card. And so over the top of this is almost like us not being allowed to realize this point of being. As I was saying, this card is about our kind of having to defend who we are or our beliefs, and the Star card can also talk about our beliefs as well. I'm also seeing it as reaching beyond. So it's about reaching beyond the kind of physical plane of existence of like here I feel as though this is us kind of justifying where we are, where we're standing, our point of kind of on the hill, if you like. I'm kind of seeing that this kind of hill, on the hill that we'd kind of die on, if you like. You know, it's like I'm not going, you can't make me go beyond this point. Whereas, and this, it's kind of, I see this as kind of like going beyond to a higher level of conscious awareness. A bit like, I'm seeing this kind of like a bit like the Make energy that is coming in at this time, which is much more less about restriction and controlling, which I kind of see this as being this more kind of Saturn energy in a way. This restriction, controlling, keeping us in our place, all these kind of different things that are attacking us to kind of keep us there. That's kind of how I see the Saturn energy in a way. Is it kind of attacks? Our confidence or our stability with who we are, and but this energy, the star energy, is almost like I'm saying, it's like not going, it's going beyond this physical realm up into this higher connection. So this is like the man-made, and this, I see this as much more the kind of universal energy. So it's bringing that universal energy down into the physical realm. With this kind of stronger sense of purpose and connection, and kind of realizing that everything is connected. But also a sense here as well that nobody is any more important than anybody else as well. And that we are the ones that do that. We do it to ourselves and we do it to other people. We give people, we allow ourselves to be put into this situation, to be kept down, to be kept, to be attacked, because we give our, I suppose, our power away, really, which is what this is kind of saying. We give away our power, our confidence. We give it to other people in order for them to turn it against us, which is what I'm kind of seeing with this Strength card down here as well. Very kind of, there's a similar energy going on here, a similar dynamic of this kind of energy being turned against us. But this is kind of saying that that we're going to get beyond that. We're going to see beyond that, because this is more universal, as I was saying. And I feel as though that's where we're heading, into this bigger awareness of the universal beings that we are and where we've come from. So at the moment with the Seven of Fire, it's like we've got limited knowledge, limited understanding. But it's like the star is going to open us up to a lot more. And then we have the Nine of Discs over the top of the Messenger of Fire. And the Nine of Discs is about our self-esteem. In this card it's called Gain. But the Nine of Discs, or Nine of Pentacles, is about how we allow ourselves to have that self-worth or not. This is an energy that is moving away. And this, again, as I was saying, this sense of mistrust was what I was feeling here. And this sense of mistrust, I kind of feel, is also kind of fed into this sense of our self-worth and our self-esteem, and of not being worth the energy or the time or the yeah, like not giving ourselves enough of whatever it is that we need in order to feed our confidence, to feed our self-awareness. The Nine of Pentacles to me is saying that collectively we haven't really, like, that we give our energy away instead of bringing it to the center of us. We give it away to others. We allow ourselves to be energetically used because we don't value ourselves in the way that we should. That's interesting. Okay, so we have the Lust card. Which here is the card number 11. It came out in reverse. It's reminding me of this Strength card here. Very similar, with this woman riding on this lion. Very similar energy. There she is riding on the back of this lion that's got lots of different heads in this card. Yeah, there's a lot going on here. Kind of, again, taming that beast. But both of these have come out in reverse. So again, it does feel like, you know, this sense of having been used against us, this energy of things being used against us. Our own strength, our own inner confidence, again, courage, being turned, manipulated. It's also kind of how I'm seeing that as well, this kind of manipulation of our, possibly our emotions. which can also relate to relationships here as well. It can be a sense of feeling as though our emotions are being used against us. And we also have the Four of Swords over the top of that, which is to do with truth, or a time of withdrawal, like staying out of a situation because we can't make a difference at this time. We're not in a situation, we're not in a position where we can, or we feel as though we're not in a situation or position where we can make a difference or we can win against something. So it's this energy of backing off from something, staying, like also possibly needing to know more about a situation or about something before we can make a change, before we can make the difference here. Four of Swords can also be seen as a healing energy, but it's usually a card of I usually see this as a card of kind of stepping backwards, meditating, not rushing into a situation, giving yourself time to think something through, lie back, watch the clouds. It's that kind of energy. Knowing that the more you kind of try to change something at this time, the less likely you are to be successful, because there's, I feel, information that is missing here. So there's still something that we need to understand or integrate here. Something that we need to digest, possibly, on a intellectual level. Okay, so we have the Ten of Cups over the top of the Six of Pentacles. And of course we have the 9 here as well, and so I was saying we were 1 away from the Ten of Cups, so we also have the 10 here as well. So it does talk about something that is emotionally going to change. Like there's going to be emotional satisfaction and balance coming into our relationships here. Equality, unconditional. Possibly also to do with, like, it feels like connections. Like being fed on an emotional level through the connections. This could also have something to do with, like tribe families, that kind of thing is what's coming through. This sense of like connecting with very kind of similar energies in order to kind of, it almost feels like kind of feeding something. Like with the 9 and the 10, it's like feeding something. It's like finally kind of like no longer having to how can I put it? No longer having to okay, it's like an opening of the heart energy. opening the heart energy, and it's coming through with this star as well, like something connecting on a deeper level, this opening of the heart energy, which is going to bring in like, it feels like more of this. It's like the more that people open and connect, the more people are going to open and connect, until we're all kind of coming from that connecting energetic heart space. Because it's over the Six of Earth, which is all about this kind of compromise and equality and fairness and balance. And we have the Hermit over the top of this Queen of Swords, which is interesting, because I did feel as though this was about something that was blocked. And this could also have something to do with this heart energy as well, because if you look here, she also has this, like, she's wearing this necklace, but there is this kind of light that is coming out from this necklace, which is right at the heart chakra energy here. And this Hermit energy has just come through for me as this sense of, like, this is our learning. This is kind of us learning something. There's something blocked within us that we need to, again, it's this deeper level of understanding something, going deeper into something in order to be able to understand our own story. Hermit can also be seen as healing as well. A healing energy, it relates to the Virgo energy. So it could be the need for healing of the heart, the wounded heart. Because I'm also seeing this, if you see here, this at the very center of this Hermit energy, there is this kind of, it's just reminding me, it just looks very similar to her necklace, like the two of them together. So at the very center of the energy coming out, it's like something being kind of awoken. So it's, because this is air energy as well, this is to do with the mind. You see here she's got all these kind of feathers which look a bit like a ladder as well, leading into this mind energy, into this kind of third eye here. But it, for me, it's kind of like going down into this heart chakra energy. So it's almost like blocking out the mind in order to be able to get to this heart energy at the very center here, which is also what I'm seeing with this Hermit. So the Hermit is about like lessons, about learning, about literally like retreating from things in order to, which is similar to this energy here as well, retreating from situations that we can't actually do anything about. So we kind of go inward. We have to look inward. We have to look within ourselves, which is also how I'm seeing this Queen of Air as well. So I was saying something about her being blocked. So it's almost like she's going within to find the answer. And the answer is to do with us connecting at that heart chakra level. Because with the Six of Water after this as well, what's saying to me is that, especially as it's in reverse, is that there's a lot of trauma there that has closed that down. That heart chakra from childhood. A lot of trauma that is having to be healed. And we have the Ten of Pentacles, which is all about our wealth, and we have the Six of Cups again, which is pleasure. So the Ten of Pentacles can be to do with finance and wealth, but it can also be to do with well-being, and again, like taking care of ourselves, what it is that we need to nourish and nurture, like how we use this energy, this wealth. Wealth does not have to be, wealth can be knowledge, it doesn't have to be money. Wealth can be knowledge, it can be there's many different forms of wealth. I know most people, when they think of wealth, they immediately think of finances and money, but it doesn't necessarily have to be. Like I was saying, it can be how we take care of ourselves, what we know, our wisdom, our understanding, our knowledge of something can all be a true wealth. And then we have the Six of Cups again straight after this, which is upright this time. So it feels to me as though it's kind of learning to take care of ourselves, learning how to nurture our needs, which here we haven't been able to do. Here we've lost that sense of looking after ourselves, taking care of our needs and our emotional needs especially. And how one kind of feeds into the other, and how there is no like disconnection between any of it. Like it's all connected. The mental, the physical, the spiritual. So if we're kind of depleted on one level, it's going to have a knock-on effect to the next level. This is all very positive. It looks to me as though we are moving into a much more positive direction, even though we may have some hard lessons to go through in order to get there. The Ten of Fire and the Tower in reverse over the top of the Ten of Fire. Hopes and fears again, but I'm kind of seeing the Tower energy here as something that has already hit. It's something that's already happened to us, and now we're kind of dealing with the outcome, with the fallout. I wanted to say outfall, but I knew that that was the wrong word, so it's like no, not going to say that. So the fallout is what we're dealing with. And I see this Tower energy as being that kind of, again, that long-term astrological Saturn-Pluto conjunction, which we're still kind of living through. It hasn't ended, it hasn't finished, even though Saturn and Pluto are not connecting. It's like it's such a major event that it's going to have long term effects. Even when the energy is no longer there, it's such a huge event that happened that it's going to have, yeah, kind of this reverberation. This tower energy is literally like what's happening. It's the establishment energy that is being knocked down, that is being devolved, in fact, at this time. But this is us kind of trying to make some sense of it, or trying to kind of like find the answers. As I was saying, kind of find the answers from the past, but they're not there. The answers aren't there because that is the past. The answers are in the future, or in the now, which is going to become the future, if you like. But it's like we can't keep going back to that old stagnant energy and expecting to find what we're looking for, because it's no longer there. This is about allowing the new in. And also I feel as well on a bigger scale, on a larger collective scale, it's also about realizing that we are part of something much bigger, that we may be on this planet, but we are actually part of something that is much bigger than we are, and that we are just a part of it. We are part of that cog, part of that connection. And we have the Ace of Swords over the top of the Queen of Earth. It is in reverse, but it's interesting because I'm kind of seeing it as this sense of bringing down, again, bringing down this kind of energy. Yeah. Kind of seeing it as this kind of channeling energy coming down, and as it comes down it kind of separates and splits, and kind of, this is us, if you like. So it's like each one of these rays of light down here is actually one of us, as we kind of live on this earth plane, which is this energy here. As we live on this earth plane, this Queen of Pentacles energy, which is our human form of who we should be. It's like almost like lighting this up. It's like connecting, but there's the sword. I'm seeing the sword as that connecting point. And it's bringing this energy down into the physical domain. But I'm also seeing it as this kind of sense of light. Again, it's this light. It's like coming out of the darkness and into the light. With this realization, as I was saying, like just before I pulled this card, of like, you know, how we are connected to everything else as well. Like we're not separate beings from everything else. Just kind of like this rock floating around in space. That's kind of the old paradigm energy, again, of our kind of sense of worthlessness, of what's the point of it all. Again, being kind of cut off And again, I see that as this mistrust of not trusting what we're being told, not trusting the story. Kind of knowing on some deeper level that there's much more than we're being told. And I feel almost like this is much more direct communication. Direct knowledge, downloads. It's also how I'm seeing this. Downloads. Direct communication, direct knowledge coming through. In order for us to step into this sense of our own individual power as well. Is how that's coming through for me today. And again, I'm seeing it as this energy here as well. I was talking about kind of like this feeding each other's kind of emotional needs. It's kind of like feeding into all of it as the heart chakras open. It's like each of our heart chakras is going to kind of help open up other people's heart chakras. So the more we open our heart chakras, the more other people around us are also going to open up their heart chakras, because it's almost like being given like confirmation or permission, if you like. And also, like with the Queen of Air here, also like if you see this as the kind of authority energy as well, in a way, the more it kind of has tried to block us and shut us down, the kind of opposite effect is actually taking place. The more we're kind of going within, the more we're opening up, is also what's coming through here. So let's see what we get from these channeled energy cards. The channeling of Julie Soskin. Channeled wisdom. These were the cards that wanted to be used today. So I doused them today to see which cards. And interestingly, they were not cards I would have chosen. Any of them. Were not cards that I thought I would be doing my reading with, so quite interesting. So we have three. We have the light, the power, the thought energy, which feels everything in every part of the universe is a part of you, which I feel is this energy here. And it's being poured out onto us, even though we may not be fully aware of it. Although I think that there are more and more people who are waking up and connecting with it and realizing that we can choose to stay in this kind of controlled, subdued, oppressed place, or we can go beyond that and find our direct connection. So that's an interesting card to start with. Then we have, now more than ever, you have the reins of destiny in your hands. Take the chariot of light and fly. Which again, this energy here, as I was saying, I see it as this light energy. So that's what we're being directed towards. And lastly, we have listen for the answers. They will always be there. Sorry about that's a bit glary. So that could also be this energy here, this sitting back, this like just mulling things over and like not acting, not getting involved as such. Maybe that's what I'm saying. I felt as though there was more to be learnt. And also with the Hermit energy here as well, this could also be about listening to the answers within as well, to what's coming in. What are we feeling? What are we picking up on? And so lastly, I'm going to do a wild offering card to see what the final message for us is here. So if you have enjoyed my video, if you have learned anything from it, if it's benefited you in any way, please could you thumbs it up and like it for me. Also, if you've subscribed, thank you very much. If you haven't subscribed yet, please could you do so. If you have liked my videos, thank you very much as well. And also there is a little bell there as well which you can tap, which will give you the opportunity or the choice to know when my videos are coming out. So we have body, and it says, show me, divine, how to love and fully care for this body. Please give me the radiant miracle of accepting my body as it is. Which is interesting, because I do feel as though that's what this is about as well. This energy, as I was saying, about kind of like our real physical body, if you like, our like connecting with it on a deeper level, like breaking out of this energy, this stagnant energy, this energy of kind of being, I don't want to use the word controlled so much, as more manipulated. I feel kind of this manipulated energy that has grown up around us. And particularly when it comes to our body, because at this time as well, it's kind of, again, it's kind of that hill that we're going to have to literally stand on or die on, is kind of how I'm feeling this energy at this time. So that is interesting again in itself. The body is who we are. It is the physical domain in which we come here onto this earth plane. And it is ours. Nobody else has the right to tell us what we can and can't do with it. Universal law versus man-made law. So I'm going to leave the reading there and say thank you very much for watching and listening. And again, I hope you have got something from it. I hope it's been of some benefit to you. Like, subscribe, tap the bell, all those things. If you have already, thank you very much. Thank you to those of you who have joined my channel. I really do appreciate you being here. I do all the full moon, new moon, and all the zodiac signs as well. There's a whole playlist that you may want to go and check out if you haven't done already, of the videos that I've done previously. There's no time, no date, because I believe that crap happens all the time and that anything can happen to anybody, and that story could be yours. So if the title grabs you, and if you think that it's your story when you're listening to it, then it is your story, regardless of when the date was that it got put out. So with all that being said, I'm going to wish you all the best for this new moon in Libra, and Mercury retrograde as well. Again, watch my astrology videos to get a little bit more insight into what's going on there. There is a free natal link in the description box down below for you to go and check out your own natal chart as well, if you're interested in finding out more about that for yourselves. And in the meantime, please take really good care of yourselves and anybody else around you, and enjoy this new moon.